Makes sense, because that's what I was thinking this draft was going to be forced ahead. But there's not a great front line for this, for any sort of Yunara Lulu team fighting later on. So we're just going to go Corki, I suppose, and it might just be a Corki Nami lane.
Corki Nami could work. Corki Bard would also be a combination that you could run.
Is Faker just going to play Azir?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of feel like that might be where we're headed.
I think he absolutely could.
Because he's really good at Azir versus Victor, the matchup. Victor pretty immobile. It's a good matchup for the Azir to punish the Victor. He's been liking this one a little bit more, though.
Yeah, that is a different option. And then do we just get the Wukong from Owner as well? I mean, that's something that we have seen cropping up more and more recently. Does give them a bit of AoE in some team fights as well. But he might opt to cook a little bit more than that.
He could play Nafiri here.
That'd be fun.
I think it's pretty good into this draft. Can kind of circumvent the Pantheon.
Yeah, Owner is...
He's laughing.
I think they are throwing out some suggestions.
It's just going to be the Wukong.
It's just the Wukong.
He's not cooking.
Yeah, sorry guys. I think I must have willed that into existence. As Pleta, going to go with the Nami in the end. This is a champion that he has found a fair bit of success on in the past, so does make some sense there, but having a Bard go all the way through the draft is kind of a crazy thing.
I don't like this matchup for the Corki Nami because...
The crop. Let's get into the rift, see whether it works in game number 2. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the rift for game number 2, as Faker is already backflipping on Scout. And Pei's taken a little bit of damage from Diablo, who's just Gatling gunning around. There is some heals thrown out. I feel like Pleta didn't get any value for his, though.
No, he did not. So 2 lanes are ruined at level 1. Oof.
Well, some Ardent Blaze damage to come on through here as we're going to pan away. And Owner is just going to look to try and contest Sponge on his Raptor Cam. I'm not sure about that one, but let's see who's going to win the level 1. As Scout is rotating over, and Owner is going to have to turn tail.
He's going to have to call Faker. Faker, please.
Yeah. The Blast Cone going to cause some shenanigans here, as Owner is definitely dead. It's just who's going to kill him. That's the question. Flash over from Scout, and he will be able to collect that first blood.
Man, he almost got a kill back.
Yeah, that
would have been illegal. That would have been crazy. His auto attack speed is a little bit too slow there. But a flash had to be used by Scout to help secure that kill. He does pick up the kill, which is important.
Also misses out on a decent amount of experience in the mid lane as well. So, yes, he manages to get first blood, but it's still possibly dangerous. Oh, God, are we going to have a dead...
Nah, he's fine.
Nah, he's fine, he's fine.
Pet power.
Yeah, that's like Doran's over the other side of the map. He's like, no, man, that's my thing. How dare you? The Krug Lord himself. He is the only one that is allowed to give Krugs kills. They would not stay in line unless it was him.
That's why he's the Lord.
Indeed. Carrier is going to get zoned out here momentarily as Pays went on back home.
Yeah, not sure exactly how this happened. As a nice little barrier here from Diablo allowed him to complete his recall, because we were watching that big scuffle, but definitely a trade went a little wrong for Pays and Carrier there, and they ended up having an awkward back timing. As you can see, a little bit behind in experience. Baker's 1-0 on this Akali pick, but it feels like he's played it more than that. That one game was pretty insane.
Yep. Kind of crazy that Scout hasn't played the Victor yet, as he has been known for this champion for quite some time. So not only just hasn't had an opportunity to play it so far in the LCK, certainly put in a lot of miles over in the LPL. As we do have Owner making his way back onto the other side of the map now.
This stat feels kind of fake because Showmaker popped off on both of his Victor games and wasn't able to win. Like, Victor looks incredibly strong right now. I think that stat line, you look at the player names and the situations that are there, and it's kind of a tricky one.
I would agree. And also, some of them are from a bit earlier on as well. I feel like he's come into his own more recently.
Absolutely agree.
So maybe you can ignore the Loki numbers and stuff like that.
Okay, we're going to see a TP here from Doran. Kingan's going to secure his back. And the game will slow down a little bit after that. Very aggressive play from Owner early. He is maybe going to get a little bit of value here in just camping this blue buff, as the wave timing means that there's no real roam for Scout. He's going to have to drop so much if he actually comes over. He's already 10 CS down, and they will secure this.
And Faker actually just comes over to support Owner, slinks into the Fog of War, makes sure that he's able to take it. And Sponge, realizing that there was no mid lane there, wasn't actually able to contest. So pretty cute, just comes on over, takes the buff away. NONGSHIM still have a decent gold advantage though, largely based on that first blood, as we know already, but the bottom lane doing just fine, top lane doing just fine. As Diablo taking a lot of damage here, Sponge coming in at exactly the right moment, but Diablo might just be dead, so close to being wiped out as the flash from Carrier will be able to pick it up. He does get traded immediately, but that means Diablo is not there to pick up this wave.
Exactly, that's the main part of it. That's a great call from Carrier. This wave and the experience will be denied. And they knew that Diablo didn't have barrier because he used it to complete his recall moments before. So they track that summoner. Pays knows he has the damage there, and he almost gets the kill. But Carrier's like, look, my flash is worth it in this situation. I'm Emilio, and I'm going to go in there. I'm going to grab that kill. He does pick it up there. Assist goes to Pays, but like you're saying, now the wave state here, or rather the CS state, back in Pays' favor.
Yeah, well, Bubble is going to get a relentless pursuit out of Pays at least. But still, he's going to be absolutely fine. Something you mentioned earlier on, you can always just kind of dash the bubble, and you're going to be fine.
Now, sometimes you can place a bubble where you predict a dash, and the dash can kind of backfire that way, but if you wait, if you're patient, it does work out. Pays knows he has barrier advantage here. They're a little bit worried about Sponge, but they're like, okay, I think we have the damage, and without Carrier's flash here, they did not, but he commits it. Sponge will pick up the kill, so it's not without a backside to it, or a what's the word I'm looking for, without any negatives here. Like, the flash was expended, the kill goes over to the Pantheon, so it wasn't a complete win for T1. They are still behind in gold, but it does fix the Lucian game state a little bit here.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Still, NONGSHIM pretty happy with how this early game has gone so far. And with Kingen on his Rumble as well, I mean, this is a champion that we haven't really been able to talk about when it comes to Kingen more recently, just because he's had that one banned against them so many times here in the LCK. Let's see whether he can actually have a powerful mid-game to put NONGSHIM in even better position. But Phosphorus Bomb does some work here, but Diablo is losing out on these trades, and Faker is now making a roam down.
Diablo does have both summoners, so they need to be careful about overcommitting into turret. But the wave is not in the great spot here for Diablo and Plata. It's very awkward, in fact, for them.
Yeah, they are able to get themselves out of the way, though. Nami is pretty good at making you able to avoid stuff, but Faker just ults on in. 5-point strike comes down. There's the backflip as Faker gets on top of Diablo. Not quite enough damage. And he is able to flash his way to safety, but that will put the flash on cooldown. Pays as well. Did flash in that last exchange.
Going to lose a lot of CS for this choice as well. And Owner, I don't think without his ult here, he's very close to it, but he doesn't have it. We'll be able to follow up.
Great protection here for NONGSHIM as well. Sponge coming on over to make sure that they don't get dove when they are so incredibly low.
Looks like Faker ended up getting about half to 2/3 of that wave, so not as bad as I initially thought when I was looking at the minimap there, but still a heavy cost for that play. And Diablo loses his flash, though, as well, so for a follow-up with this Wukong later on, could be quite strong. In fact, does have level 6 right now. Let's see if Diablo is going to greed for this, or if they're just going to use this prio to get Dragon. Sponge is still nearby.
Yeah, just on the Krugs right now, just going to be clearing through his bottom side jungle. Might be somewhere that Owner could attack as well. As he does get a ward down, Owner moving towards this mid lane, wanting to try and challenge Scout. There are pings from NONGSHIM. I think they know that this is happening. As finally Owner does show on the wave. This is going to be a bit of an awkward moment, though, as Owner with the Cyclone is pretty scary, but able to create enough distance. And Scout will just walk it off. Finds a cheeky little Q there as well.
Yeah, really hard for Owner to make this work solo without Faker's help. And Faker was so low that Scout might have traded once. They just don't want to mess with it. Faker and crew had so much insane deep vision on the bottom side of the map that they were able to track that Sponge was still on the bottom side and hadn't rotated up mid, so that's where he decided to make his angle of attack. Does not work out. They do not end up getting the gank there on the Scout. They don't get his flash or anything out of that. And so NONGSHIM still comfortably ahead here in this game. Scout has evened up the CS. And, you know, we're looking at this composition here for NONGSHIM. It scales really well.
Yeah. And I'm just hoping that they can give us a competitive mid-game. I want to see, like, either side just, you know, don't get too far ahead. Give us a game. As there's a backflip from Faker. Arcane Storm does go down, and the flash comes on through. Faker finds the solo against Scout in this mid lane, and Wolf, I think maybe the pendulum has just swung back, much like our opening video, as Sponge trying to find Faker here. The Cyclone going to try and interrupt him, though, as there is the backflip, and Faker will be able to help Owner grab the kill. Oh dear. Trying to kill the GOAT, always a more difficult task than you'd expect.
It always comes at a cost even if you do get him, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes Owner is there. Doesn't even have to flash to keep Faker alive. Scout's flash is down now as well. And T1, the prio they've regained in this bottom side, will also be able to secure this first dragon. In terms of elementals, it is one of the best.
Yeah, pretty powerful. There's a nice bubble to connect from Pleta, but Pays is just going to kill him in a response. Okay, well, very close to. Fire kick, just going to do a little bit of work here towards Diablo, who is desperately just hoping that he can pick up this minion wave. He might be able to do so. Phosphorus Bomb able to tidy up the wave quite efficiently at this point.
I don't think they can kill him, but they might be able to get a plate, and they're also going to annoy him. Remember, Owner just used his Cyclone moments before. Watch Faker here. So he's going to look for it. Gets the... Man, that Shuriken. Backflip was so clean.
Pretty perfect execution. That is a solo kill from Doran as well. Okay, penny for a replay. As I believe he may have just gone all out. And Kingen then died.
It's what Cassante often does. He isn't really known for not going all out. He doesn't really casually do things. He always does them all out. He goes all out on his attempted solo kills. This one's falling apart, Alice. But anyway,
yeah.
Let's watch how.
I appreciated the try.
No, I couldn't get out. But Doran could go all out as Kingen tries to equalize here, but this doesn't have any. Oh. He's so far away from the turret. Like there's nothing really he can do.
He just flashes over the tennis net that was put down that's made of fire.
All out is so much stronger the first time you use it now with the new Doran's helm as well. All those extra resources. But I don't think that's really the main factor there. The Q3 connects and Kingen is just stuck.
I just feel like Spectre's Cowl is so powerful, into Rumble especially, and just suits the Cassante's build path just so nicely.
Well, when you're running into both the Rumble and the Victor, it's like super obvious what you're going to build. You're just going to build a lot of MR.
Oh yeah.
No one is going to hurt you. And when you get ahead like this, I mean, the Rooker already in hand, you can just keep putting the pressure on.
All right, Carrier and Pays looking for a bit of an angle here. Bubble does go wide. Battle over Vision for now, but it could evolve into something else.
And this is a 2v3. There is, I mean, Owner is coming down, but he's not here yet. But they just know that Diablo has to catch that wave.
Oh, Faker going in, looking for it one more time. His Scout is just dead. Perfect execution, gets Faker out of there in the nick of time. And oh my goodness, this Akali is a problem.
2023 all over again.
Yeah. That is, yeah, not a thing a NONGSHIM fan wants to be watching here. 2-0-1 now, and I mean, as soon as this Akali gets unlocked from the mid lane, it's just going to be problematic. Obviously, has completed the quest already, but
he literally just TPs, baits the gravity field, and he's like, "You don't have that now. I kill you. I got the Shuriken."
Yeah, now you're just dead.
It was, I mean, it just didn't look fair.
No, he used his ultimate to get out. It didn't even do damage. Like the second go of the perfect execution, he didn't even require that to execute Scout in that moment. Blackfire Torch is done for the Victor. He will do damage, but oh my goodness.
I mean, remember, Scout was the one who got first blood at like level 2 in this game.
Yeah.
And he was not able to leverage that at all into this matchup into the Akali.
I'm not going to talk about Victors being good anymore. I feel like Showmaker's baited me with some great performances.
And maybe it's just Showmaker that was good.
Yeah, maybe he's the only one that's allowed to play this champion. I mean, I know that Scout is a fantastic Victor player, though. Like, he has been in the past.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, unfortunately, for Scout we've been talking about a lot recently in terms of his narrative. Kingen a little bit less so, but still the same story, right? These two players were in their peak. It's just unbeatable. And a lot of matchups. Like, giving Rumble to Kingen sounds like a sin.
Yeah.
But he got solo killed by Doran's Cassante in this game. And I think the current form may also just be a symptom of the overarching struggles of NONGSHIM right now as a roster. Just no one's performing at anywhere close to their peak, and as a 5-man, it is just not working out as a result of it.
Yeah, I think Faker is definitely looking like probably the best Worlds MVP that we have in the game so far. And there are a few of them. So NONGSHIM going to be pushing this wave up on forward. He's taking some damage from these rockets. Oh, Ebb and Flow actually also helping out there. Good timing from Pleta. As, oh my goodness. Okay, Valkyrie does come on through. Diablo's still very strong. We'll be hitting that spike relatively soon. Actually, just gets to build the same items as the last game. Feels pretty nice. As Fire Kick connects onto Diablo, but Pleta is able to heal him back up again. Does have the Imperial Mandate already complete.
It's so interesting T1 have not committed to try to get that last grub or anything either. It's just not that interesting to them, not that relevant with this composition. FaZe is playing with fire here.
Yep, there is Ona coming in though, finds the Cyclone. Tidal Wave, fantastic for the disengage. However, and T1 are unable to quite find it as Faker going in onto Kingin, looking to put his Death Note together, but unfortunately not quite able to find the angle and just backflips around and has a bit of fun.
Yeah, but he didn't flash for it, and Kingin's flash was forced, so it's a huge win either way. As they're getting the Dragon now in the bottom side of the map, or at least we're thinking about it, we'll need to actually win a fight.
You just needed to hit that Raptor once. Oh my goodness, that was very depressing. He might be able to win this Smite War though, as teleport in from Kingin, looks to make his way down. Doran comes on forward. Scout looking for an angle there as well, but Faker just goes into the back line. Not sure about this one, as he is taking so much damage. Surviving for the moment, though, as finally the kill does come through. The Dragon is secured by T1, but both of the solo laners are now dead. Carrier limping away from this one, as there is the man drop from Sponge to get the flash on forward to kill the Melio.
Did Faker just, you know, Akali can't deny TPs because she doesn't have CC. Did he just time the backflip to follow? That was crazy. I think that's what he did.
Actually do
I think he did. I think that's how he got into that fight, which unfortunately for him put him in a pretty rough spot, and he did ultimately die. But I've never seen that in the replay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I knew that that could happen. There were also some funny shenanigans that used to happen with Apprehend as well from Darius, but yeah, it probably was because it's very cool. Let's have a look at this one more time. Yeah, he does.
He follows.
He just rockets over the rift.
Woohoo! And Kingin is aware of it and is able to, obviously, with his giant shield here, absorb all the damage. And Faker is just kind of a sitting duck here, so did not really work out the way he wanted to, but he was able to join the fight. They secure the Dragon, but they do end up giving over a lot of kill gold to the side of NONGSHIM. Red Force here as the Pantheon looks to follow. Carry up on the wrong side of the rift here. Sponge has to flash away, but also uses that flash to secure the kill. So 3 dead for the Dragon here, as I actually forgot that this happened.
Yeah, so I guess...
so 4 dead, sorry.
Also dies. NONGSHIM now back in the driving seat once again. And Sponge might actually be able to grab Shelly unless T1 just decide to start a fight instead. Diablo very strong at this point in time, as Pathmaker going to deny the CC there from Doran. Tidal Wave comes on forward. Paze is able to take down Sponge, but Ona is likely to die as well. Kingin looking very low as Faker does get bubbled, but gets the work done beforehand. And now Diablo able to get that barrier down and keep himself alive. Scout now in trouble, gets pulled back, and the dash cannon comes on through. There's the Arcane Storm. Paze taking so much damage, has to flash to get out of the way. And Pleta is an angry fish, but unfortunately not fast enough to catch up to the rest of T1.
Yeah, I think probably should abandon that idea at this point and just be happy with this ward. T1 are finding these incredible angles, but it almost feels like they're ultimately defeating themselves in these longer fights sometimes. But the engage here is great on the Sponge, right? They win the control over the Herald, but then they decide to push deep here into this choke point. The equalizer value is pretty high at kind of softening them up. Doran is unable to secure the kill here onto Diablo initially, and then we still go in pretty deep to try to get Scout, and so much damage is traded back. Scout is pretty tanky with his build, and just does so much damage in return. So it ends up being an even trade, but I think T1 could have just gotten those kills and gotten the Herald, but they wanted a little bit more.
Yeah, the bubble was absolutely pivotal onto Paze there to make sure that follow-up damage didn't come through. I think that kept Scout alive and allowed that trade to be a lot more even. Now NONGSHIM, they get positional advantage around Shelly. They will be able to take her down and continue this advantage. See where Shelly is going to go. That mid lane is looking already pretty low, so maybe that's not where they're going to go. But 2 minutes on the Mountain Soul Dragon.
Yeah, it is first turret going to go over to Faker there on the bottom side of the map. Before this Herald can actually secure it for NONGSHIM, unfortunately, but they still get the mid turret, which is more valuable. Faker is pushing all the way to the inner, though someone is eventually going to have to answer this. Akali, who decided, I don't know if he had teleport actually to follow Kingin last time around when he did do that
he didn't actually have it.
He has it now, but if they need him, he can be called upon, as Doran is looking for another solo.
Yeah, doesn't quite find that damage, and he's underneath the turret. So Sponge will just kill him, and there he goes.
Okay, so something circus.
Yeah.
So, sorry to get. It was very cool the outplays we were seeing from T1, and then they kept attempting them, and they were still working most of the time. And now it starts to feel like we're cooking a little bit too hard, and the game state is not as good for T1 as they maybe think.
Well, Faker looking to make it 3. The hat trick of solo kills is pretty powerful, but isn't going to be able to find it just yet. Diablo now just moving forward looking for Pays. There's a fire kick for some disengage. It's going to work out at least for now. And Pays giving back about as well as he gets. Platter does have a decent amount of sustain though. Just
no
pressing
mid
W over and over again.
So it's really scary to actually keep trading like that, especially with Pantheon. Even though he doesn't have ult right now because he just used it, if he is able to flash stun you as Pays because you don't have cleanse, you are not going to enjoy the end result. So probably have to play a little bit more respectfully as the Lucian here. As Faker's going to TP flank, and we'll see Doran be able to swap with them. See if they can secure this kill. I don't think so.
Well, Faker does get harpooned to start this one off, so maybe going to be a difficult one. Never mind, he just backflips in. 5-point strike comes down, and now Pays gets engaged on here in this mid lane, but just not quite enough damage just there. 4 seconds on the Dragon. That is exactly where NONGSHIM want to go.
Yeah, they do, I think, have to give this Dragon up T1. But they can set up the swap I was talking about. Well, Faker took too much damage, so he is going to back. Instead, I was going to say Doran could TP to answer the Victor push. So Faker has to walk down to answer it, in fact, because he took all that damage. They decided to keep the Cassante pushing, and that means Scout is going to pick up a lot of money here, actually. I thought they were going to have Doran TP down and keep Faker on the top side after that attempted solo kill, but instead, it's going to be a Doran pushing. Dragon goes over, Turret goes over, and NONGSHIM are keeping this game incredibly close, and their comp scales really well. So starting to get a little bit worried that if T1 make 1 or 2 more big mistakes, NONGSHIM could actually take this for them, take this away from them.
Certainly is a possibility. I am a little bit worried for what's coming up, right? Like, if T1 do just decide to lock in, right? They've got a great front line in Doran. They have Owner there with the Cyclone that can just cause so much disruption. And we have to remember that Faker has 2 items complete. 2 of his kills are just solos against Scout. And he does, you know, do a whole bunch if we do make it towards some of these team fights. So still, T1, I think, with some options as this game goes on. But like you say, I mean, Scout's damage is only going to be higher and higher, and it's so hard to avoid if things start to get going for NONGSHIM in these fights. The Arcane Storm just gets a little bit too large.
Yeah, no, it goes right on top of the Shroud and does not care whether he could see the Akali or not. And the same thing kind of with Rumble as well. Speaking of Rumble, he is not alone.
He is not. Sponge is going to rotate down. Let's see whether Doran can find anything here. He still wants it as he's got friends on the way. Pathmaker comes in. Should be able to pull Kingen out, and he does do so, but they're dancing on the barbecue, and that is the Wukong being taken down. The rest of NONGSHIM will turn up as well as the culling just to try and deter them. But the Arcane Storm will catch up, at least for the moment. Does finally dissipate as now Diablo, with that extra movement speed, the dash is on forward and just joins up with Carrier, and Doran gets himself out of there.
All right, Faker, by the way, getting a lot of money here in the mid lane while all this is happening. Did not have TP, and I think he thought that they had enough members to actually get those kills without him.
Oh, that fire kick just beautiful there from Carrier on the disengage.
Yeah, he's blocked Diablo twice now from following up and doing anything here. These moments for T1 are leading to wins away from where they're diving. Like they're not actually getting the kill here, but Faker's able to back off right and end up getting that mid turret, 2 extra plates. This setup here, I think, is when I watch this happen, it almost feels like Dandy told NONGSHIM after game 1, like, hey, just match their rotations. They go for these greedy plays, these aggressive dives, and if we follow them, we can outplay them. And then when the game state is this close, you absolutely can. If T1 think they can pinch faster, Doran is able to because he's Cassante dashed like 7 times to get away. But they almost got him as well, which would have made it even more favorable there for NONGSHIM. T1 get the plate money and the turret in the mid lane, though, so they actually keep that gold lead. It's very small, though. 600, 500 here, 23 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly mean too much. But it's these incremental advantages and the fact that T1 still seem to be keeping a level head when it comes to making the cross maps actually happen. Still, NONGSHIM now 2 minutes until this next Mountain Drake. If they get 4 Mountain Drake Mountain Soul, that makes them very hard to kill, says Atlas really intelligently.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty...
They will have more tanky stats.
It's a pretty base take by you.
Thanks. I know it's a bit controversial, but I was confident to go with it. It will be very hard for T1 to fight NONGSHIM if that does occur. The thing is,
it will also be very
T1
difficult to
have
get 4 dragons.
Yes, that is the next thing. Is T1 they might fight a little harder for Soul Point coming up.
But your premise was, you know, if they got all 4. You didn't say anything about how hard that would be to do.
No.
So that's why your take was so based.
Yeah. Sometimes it's about the result that hasn't happened yet and the analysis of that result.
Yes.
That's what I like to go with.
Well, T1 do have a ton of prio and control around this area right now, but it's still 90 seconds before this spawns, so and I need to continue to maintain that. The IE is almost done for pace. And when that is hit, I think T1 have a chance to close the door on this game. But that team fight, that first big fight, it might be on this dragon, is where T1 need to pull ahead, because if they don't, this victory kind of becomes too big to fail. He's already got an arm guard. Actually, for safety here, that's going to feel so good for these upcoming fights. With this build, he's so tanky with the rocket belt. And killing him is quite challenging, actually, for even the Lucian's burst damage. So T1 are not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, and it wasn't as much of a challenge earlier on in the game. So Scout needs to try and scale. Find some relevance here in this one. Currently is almost 40 CS behind as well. Faker really has just been mopping up these side lanes. And Scout hasn't been able to find quite as much money.
And Faker will very briefly be 2 levels ahead of him as well with level 16. It's actually happening almost right before this dragon fight, which would have been amazing. It's very close to it.
Oh, Infinity Edge done as well.
Yeah, this is the timing. T1 really want to fight right here, right now to get this soul point. But they don't have the prio just yet. They're going to have to push that mid wave in and head over as fast as they can. NONGSHIM have full control right now. The question is, do they have the damage to burst this dragon down before T1 get here? I think we are still going to have that 5v5 fight.
Well, Faker on a pretty decent flank angle as well, as he has slunk into the bottom lane. There is control vision, though, for NONGSHIM. And they have kind of done their homework moving into this, as Owner does get over the wall here.
They don't know where he is. They're looking for him. This could be a huge flank.
Now they're looking to turn on to Faker. Faker does have teleport. If he does go low, he can get back into a fight. But he does just make his way out of there. Now no Grand Starfall available here for NONGSHIM. But Owner is very far away. Faker did ult in that last one, so won't have that for the ensuing fight. As now Diablo getting taken down very, very low. The culling is absorbed by most of NONGSHIM, as there's the equalizer to try and separate them. The all-out from Doran gets into that backline, as now the Wukong makes his presence known, but the bubble is so good from Platter. Pei's now trying to kite this one out, and Sponge has fallen. But both junglers being dead doesn't necessarily guarantee a dragon for either team. NONGSHIM, they take control of the area, though. They grab the kill onto Pei's, and that should be another Drake going over to them.
Faker might be in trouble here. I mean, there's not really much of a way out. Let's see what he can
Doran
do.
Kent the back. I'm not sure about that one. Is now Platter. Can you stay alive? Faker almost killing both of them. As now Doran is trying to get on in here. Scout wanting some revenge, though, as Faker realizes that he's going to have to try and go for it. The Death Ray is named correctly, and both solo lanes, after some heroics, will fall for T1, and NONGSHIM will take the dragon.
I think we're going to 3 games, Atlas. I think NONGSHIM have enough control over this game now. Even just having 2 Mountain Dragons is going to do so much work for their composition. The bubble value here, not this one, but on the follow-up one, is massive. As look at this angle for Scout as well, kind of unpunishable. And as Doran goes through here, he takes so much damage. Pei's is trying to push forward here, and he just gets chunked out. And, I mean, Scout flashes to follow here, and the Lucian is just dead, and I think Lucian's time has passed in this game. Faker, by the way, plays this moment so incredibly well. Doran stops his back because he wants to try to see if he can make something of this. As Faker is able to get this shuriken to land here, forces Kingen to flash, and then is almost able to escape. Great flash here as well from Faker, but the Scout's damage is unfortunately from Faker just too much. Then he's trying to be like, okay, well, I guess I'm not getting out, I'll kill you.
That Death Ray,
not gonna happen.
Absolutely perfect timing from Scout. Otherwise, I think he was just dead again. And that would have been pretty devastating for NONGSHIM, especially if Faker then gets to go back, then gets to teleport back in. As now Doran taking a bit of damage here, but he is a Xante, does have a decent health bar on him.
A lot of resources used in that exchange for NONGSHIM. Notably, the tidal wave is going to be down here.
Oh, Diablo My God, the damage from that phosphorus bomb was just gigantic. The culling goes in. Diablo right in that front line as Doran looking to try and cut him up. They do take down the Corki. There goes the Victor. The damage is just missing outside of King, and whose equalizer does come on down. At least he gets rid of the Cassante. The now Faker looking for even more. And T1, they've got Baron on the mind. It only cost them Doran in that fight, and I think they should be able to take this.
I think there's just too many T1 members here for Kingen to be able to stop this, and Pleta doesn't have his tidal wave. See what he can get done here, but I think this Baron is T1's.
I mean, it does still do a fair bit of damage here as Faker takes both harpoons. Kingen is super healthy at this point in time, but Ona has got Smite. They're not going to be able to stop the Baron. The question is, can they get anything off the back end of this fight? No teleports are going to be respawning, and now they're looking to just try and turn this 4 versus 2, and despite the health bars, I think that Kingen and Pleta overstayed their welcome. They were just watching as the Baron goes down, and then they died.
It was a decisive call to try to deny the Baron, but they didn't have any tools for it. If the equalizer was still up, right? Like, if the tidal wave was still up, there's just so many angles. Diablo's positioning here, pretty suspect, honestly. After what looked like a huge win for NONGSHIM, you know, they were able to push T1 away, but then he just stayed so far forward, and T1 were like, well, thank you for the freebie, and then Scout's caught on the other side of the fight. And once all that damage is gone, the Rumble alone can't get it done, as you'll see here. He did hit a few harpoons on the Faker and did a lot of damage, but there's 4 members here. There's no smite for NONGSHIM. There's no way they're going to deny this, and they cannot stop the Baron, nor will they get out with their lives. And what felt like a 1 game here for NONGSHIM is tossed to the Wolves.
Yeah, now Faker is just going to kill Sponge. 5-point strike gets him another solo kill here in this game, moving to 5-2 and 3. The Rebel Baron power play cresting the 3,000 gold mark. And remember, before that happened, NONGSHIM were in the lead. And now it has all just gone pear-shaped. T1 decided that the circus is over. It's time for some winning. Oh my goodness, the culling just destroys Pleta. Half of it. Enough to kill him from 100 to 0.
They're sort of ripping these turrets off the map. Inner and mid is just gone. Bottom lane, no answer. Faker's pushing these Baron minions up to the top one as well. They're now going to start to siege this inhibitor turret. 2 inhibitor turrets will be sieged here briefly as Paze can just walk up to Scout. Like, Scout has to be careful.
Yeah, he does manage to go gold, and the Arcane Storm is doing a fair bit of work here, but they are diving this turret. There's nothing they can do about it. Faker somehow died elsewhere on the Rift. But I'd go 3 for 1, I'd say 4 for 1, sorry. And I'd say that that's probably pretty good. Did Faker go 1 for 1? He did. So we take those. Sponge taking a fair bit of damage here as well, but these Nexus turrets are not long for the world. And just after we were saying that we felt like we might be going to 3 games, T1 were like, hold my beer. And they are now just going to be going home with another 2-0 victory. And the NONGSHIM woes are going to continue, moving to 13 games in a row that they've been unable to find a victory. And as the Rebel Baron power play ticks over to about 8.2k, the Nexus will go down and T1 will claim the 2-0.